Now the latest ITV News in London with Duncan Golestani.
Tonight, Cressida Dick is accused of presiding over a culture of incompetence and cover-up. High-profile critics have united against the Met Commissioner's contract being extended, arguing instead her conduct should be investigated.
I'm asking her to step down at the end of her term. I mean, I'm not one for the grand gesture. This is not opera. Let's just acknowledge she's not the person for the job.
Also on the programme, the beautiful game is getting uglier. Rio Ferdinand tells MPs of the growing racism players are facing. She won her match and she's winning over America. Bromley's Emma Raducanu makes history in New York. And
we are at the high-and-dime Mercury Prize 2021 with some exceptional artists.
Good evening. It's not been announced if Cressida Dick's contract as Commissioner of the Met is to be extended, but already high-profile critics have united in calling for her replacement. Among those urging the Prime Minister she should go and have her conduct investigated, Baroness Corrie and the broadcaster Paul Gambaccini, who was falsely accused of sexual abuse. He told us she was no longer the right person for the job. Here's our senior correspondent, Ronke Phillips.
Cressida Dick is unfit to be Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police because she is a stranger to honesty.
The scathing attack on Dame Cressida Dick by one of the signatories to the letter, which says she should not have her contract extended. Paul Gambaccini was on bail for a year before the false allegations against him were dropped. He holds the Met Commissioner personally responsible and says she's not fit for office.
She's not fit because she's unfit, and she's proved that she's unfit. As we had our meeting of the 7 people who had had experiences with the police, it became clear that in every single case, Dame Cressida Dick had either been dishonest, non-honest, or had blocked honest revelation.
This is 5 of the group who signed the letter to Prime Minister Boris Johnson. All describe themselves as victims of police corruption, incompetence and malpractice. They include the brother of the murdered private detective Daniel Morgan, whose unsolved case has been engulfed in allegations of police corruption. In June, when the panel that carried out a report into the case accused Dame Cressida Dick of blocking its access to information, the Commissioner came out fighting.
I'm an honourable person. If I thought I should be considering my position, I would be, but I don't.
I now want people to remember him as a bright, beautiful young man.
Lady Doreen Lawrence, the mother of the murdered teenager Stephen, has also put her name to the letter, along with former MP Harvey Proctor, who was falsely accused of sexual abuse by Operation Midland detectives. The Commissioner resisted calls to resign in March after officers policing the vigil for Sarah Everard were accused of manhandling women who were at the event.
Look at this, look at this. I'm outside my house.
And the force has faced repeated accusations of racial bias in its use of stop and search. The Commissioner apologised to the athlete Bianca Williams after she was stopped with her baby in the car.
You're asking for her to step down immediately?
I'm asking her to step down at the end of her term. I mean, I'm not one for the grand gesture. This is not opera. Let's just acknowledge she's not the person for the job.
The Commissioner does have support from Sadiq Khan and the Home Secretary, but those who've signed the letter say the head of the Metropolitan Police, who is employed to enforce the law, often acts as though she's above it.
Ronke, what next then for Cressida Dick?
Well, we should acknowledge she was the first woman ever to lead the Metropolitan Police Force, but she's been dogged with criticism right from the very start. And we have to acknowledge it's a really difficult job. As I said, her 5-year contract will come to an end in April, but it's been reported that she's already been offered this 2-year extension. And the rather unkind rumour, Duncan, is that this extension to her contract has only been offered because the most likely people to take over the job are not quite ready yet. One thing is certain, if she stays in post, the criticism is going to continue.
Yes. OK, Ronke, thank you. Next tonight, 2021 has been quite the year so far for Emma Raducanu. Just 10 weeks ago, the 18-year-old from Bromley was ranked outside of the world's top 300. After her win yesterday in the quarterfinals of the US Open, she's now broken into the top 50 and she's officially the British #1. In the process, she's winning over legions of fans on both sides of the Atlantic, and the tennis fairy tale in New York continues, as Martin Stew reports.
From Great Britain, Emma Raducanu. She's the talk of the town in Bromley and Beckenham this morning.
Here we go.
Emma's New York fairy tale already inspiring her old coaches, newer students.
Well done, Judy. Drop back, Sarah.
Judy and Sarah Nicole's families are originally from China and Romania, respectively, just like Emma's.
How much would you like to be doing what she's doing right now?
A lot. I like her confidence. She's really brave. I really would like to be like her.
On paper, she shouldn't have got to the semi-final. An 18-year-old who did her A-levels in the summer, playing in only her second Grand Slam.
That's a confidence builder for Raducanu.
Against the Olympic champion. But Emma loves to defy expectations, even her own.
I didn't expect to be here at all. I mean, I think my flights were booked at the end of qualifying, so it's a nice problem to have, but here I am, and it just shows that if you believe in yourself, then anything is possible.
Did you know from early on that she had something special about her?
Absolutely. I mean, she walked into the club aged 5, I think it was, and there was just this little spark about her. I think that's the amazing thing about Emma. She's made the impossible, or what seems to be sometimes the impossible, possible and believable.
Who's a superstar?
Emma Raducanu!
These kids go to Bickley Primary, Emma's first school. They've even had a lesson from the superstar herself.
It was very cool. She was very, smiley and really happy. It was exciting. It was great.
So this is the note that Emma gave to me when she left me at the end of year 1. Dear Miss Catchpole, thank you for all your help and everything. I enjoyed all your lessons.
Emma also caught up with her first teacher.
When she started with us, she was a very shy girl. She needed to sort of bring it out of herself, but she was very, very bright. I can't even begin to describe how proud I am to see what she has achieved.
That quiet girl's already guaranteed at least $675,000 in prize money, but could earn far more.
I think the potential that Emma has to earn significantly beyond just the world of tennis through sponsorship is vast. I'm trying to think of a ceiling, and I can't think of a ceiling. She's young, she's vibrant, she's confident.
She's also focused on her next opponent, 17th seed Maria Sakkari.
I feel she's just taking it one point at a time, and she doesn't want to change the routine that she's got into to get herself to the semi-finals. I think she believes she can win this.
We'll find out when she steps on court at 2 o'clock tomorrow morning. Martin Stew, ITV News.
The former England captain, Rio Ferdinand, has said the abuse he recently received at a football match is proof racism in the game has become normalised. The footballer, who grew up in Peckham, has been giving evidence to MPs about online hate. Champrit Kera is with me now. You've been listening to the evidence. What did he have to say?
Well, Duncan, Rio Ferdinand spoke really powerfully about some of the abuse that he's faced online and the impact it's had on him and his family. He even described how he's had to explain to his children what the monkey emoji means because he's seen it so often commented on his social media posts. Now, he was talking to a room full of MPs who were writing the online safety bill. That's new legislation to tackle this ever-growing problem of discrimination and hate online. Now, Rio Ferdinand said that he felt that social media companies aren't doing enough. And so instead of kicking the problem out of football, they're encouraging people to think, well, I can get away with this online, maybe I can get away with it in person too.
Until you sort those situations out online, I think it's going to keep on being reflected in the stadiums. I'm now at the moment part of a case. I was racially abused at a game recently, so I know from personal experience it's becoming more normal.
And Rio wasn't the only person giving evidence, was he?
No, yesterday Rio's brother Anton spoke about the abuse that he's faced. I think what really stuck out there was just how exasperated he obviously felt. He said that he didn't think social media companies would act on this until somebody was driven to take their own life as a result of it. And of course this does keep happening. The most obvious example was after the Euros final when Bukayo Saka, Jadon Sancho, both of them London footballers like Rio Ferdinand, and Marcus Rashford all were sent racist abuse after they missed penalties. Now, sadly, Rio Ferdinand said that he expected that as soon as he watched the match, which is a really sad indictment of the social media landscape that we currently live with. The committee is continuing to collect evidence and they'll then use that to inform their draft of this bill. We'll keep you updated as soon as we have the details of that bill.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Taryn. Razor blades have been found hidden underneath anti-vaccine posters on the London Underground to try to stop people ripping them down. Staff are being warned conspiracy theorists are putting up the posters across stations. At least one person is believed to have been injured. And Topshop's former flagship store on Oxford Street could very soon become IKEA, where the deal reportedly reached. Although unable to share plans today, a spokesperson for the furniture retail giant said, "We are on a journey to create a new IKEA that is even more affordable, accessible and sustainable." Mayor Sadiq Khan has ordered an investigation into planning rules which stop Londoners putting solar panels on their roofs. City Hall says conservation areas enforced by the London boroughs are often a barrier. The effects of climate change have given a renewed emphasis to the need for homes in the capital to cut carbon emissions. Our political correspondent Simon Harris has more.
In a city of 9.5 million people, ensuring everyone lives in a green home is a tall order. But on a building site in Walthamstow, the developers of one new housing project are doing their bit.
Happy Christmas! What you can see here is a clay brick wall that's going to be used in the party walls of the houses. So the actual bricks themselves have just been pressed or just pressed clay.
The clay was dug up for the foundations. Bricks from an old industrial building on the site are being recycled. Skips are banned because waste is reused. Solar panels on the roof and air source heat pumps instead of gas boilers will supply hot water and heating.
The residents will have little to no utility bills, certainly not from an energy or electricity perspective. So that was really the drive here, because our demographic has traditionally been first-time buyers and young families. So if you can shave, a few £1,000s off a running cost of a home every year, it can have a massive difference.
Older homes will also need to be greened up. The owners of this 1930s cottage at West Byfleet in Surrey are hoping cavity wall insulation will reduce their carbon footprint and their heating bills.
We want to make it as ecologically friendly as possible and, just want to make sure that we're doing our bit for the environment.
Some homeowners take advantage of government and local council grants, but is enough being done to advertise them?
That's where the issue is. I think it's been left quite a lot for the industry people to do their own sort of marketing awareness, and actually there needs to be such a big education change in the country that it does need to be led probably by the government a bit better now.
We need to make sure that everyone is able to benefit from better insulated homes and and homes that stay cool in heat waves as well, because the extreme heat is as much of an issue for people's health as extreme cold.
This summer, Londoners experienced a series of flash floods. They were blamed on climate change. The government wants the UK to be net zero by 2050. The Mayor wants London to be a net zero city by 2030.
And Simon is in the late debate studio for us this evening.
As well as discussing the challenge of making London homes greener, we also have an exclusive interview with the boss of Transport for London. Andy Byford will be here to answer questions about bike lanes, driverless tube trains and how to find enough money to keep TfL afloat. Is charging motorists to enter Greater London still on the cards? We'll also talk to 3 MPs about whether Dame Cressida Dick should be allowed to stay on as Met Police Commissioner. That's the late debate here on ITV after news at 10.
Thank you, Simon. Next, it's one of the most prestigious nights in the music industry's calendar, celebrating rising talent. The Mercury Prize is being awarded at the Hammersmith Apollo, and Ria Chatterjee is there for us now. Hello, Ria.
Hi, Duncan. You know what's great about the Mercuries is that, rest assured, you can look at that nomination list and you will be introduced to a new band, a new style, maybe something that you you don't think is quite your vibe, and then you listen to it and you'll discover that you love it. So this is all about 12 artists looking at 12 albums, and these are people who are considered to be breaking the mould, either through their storytelling, through their composition, and through the themes that they're looking at in their work. So let's take a look at some of the people that I spoke to yesterday. A melting pot of genres.
Viola Davis, man, will get away with murder.
That's the Mercury Prize in a nutshell. It's a celebration also of rising talent. Black Country New Road has been described as post-genre, in other words, a blend of music styles. The band is just 3 years young. They met at sixth form, and all of this is very new to them. Have you had your rehearsal yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
In like 20 minutes or something.
How are you feeling about it?
Good.
Good.
Bit nervous.
Yeah?
The team
we
was so
went
pro.
and we watched Gets from like behind the stage.
Did you?
And we were like, I was like, what the hell? Like, what are we doing here? It was just like, there's full setup like with choir and all that, and
We suddenly thought,
we were like,
why didn't we get a choir?
Yeah, what have we done?
We've just literally shown up the way we always show up to gigs.
And the Mercury Prize is just so reputable. What does it stand for?
It's just trying to spread and share different things all in one space.
Yeah, which to me feels like a really great thing, particularly in the world that we live in at the moment, which can sometimes feel a bit polarised. This feels like so many different genres, so many different people from different backgrounds coming together.
That. I like that you discover new people. Like, I'd never listened to Berwyn before.
You used to call me on my trap phone.
Berwyn. Trinidad-born, Romford-raised. His storytelling revolves around his own experiences, which include facing deportation at one point and, of course, relationships with loved ones. And some members of Wolf Alice, the alt-rock band who won the Mercury in 2018, started out small. So you're doing open mics?
Ellie was doing open mics. I haven't done one yet.
Even if you don't know anybody who plays in bands or you don't know anyone in the industry or anything like that, it's just a way to I don't know, get used to the stage maybe or something.
What did you want to capture in this body of work?
There's a personal element to it that you want to put on paper almost to make sense of your own self. It sounds like a cliche, but make people feel less alone if they are going through something similar.
Currently, people do perceive those ideas to be a bit cliched or a bit schmaltzy, but actually, do you think it's really important that those ideas are explored in music? I mean, Little Sims has done it in her recent album, Berwyn's done it, you guys have obviously done it.
The best thing about music and other forms of art stuff is that you feel heard.
Oh my God, that's lovely. So we're joined now by Arlo Parks and Berwyn. Welcome to the show, both of you. We'll come to Berwyn first. Berwyn, you're the first artist who's been nominated for this album based on a mixtape. That is pretty cool. That's a powerful message to send out to your listeners.
Yeah, to my listeners, yeah. I don't care about my listeners. For me, that is very powerful because that's my little trophy tonight. I don't expect to take anything home, so I've got that little trophy for the rest of my life. I was the first person to be nominated for a Mercury based on a mixtape, so yeah.
And I saw on a recent Instagram post of yours that you said that this was an opportunity to make your family proud. What does that mean to you, Berwyn?
We come from hard places, and things are still hard now, even though we're making it through, but things like this we never envisioned for us, you know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful that they get to live this, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's something I get to take from it.
And people assume that, album making involves fancy studio, high-tech equipment. Now, for your first album, that was not the case.
Yeah, I didn't even have any musical instruments as it goes, actually. I had 2 pairs of broken headphones. One had a wonky ear, but had sound, and the other had no sound but stable ears. So I'd use the one with sound and wonky ears to put on first, and the stable one without sound to hold it onto my head. So I'd made the whole album with a big spacesuit helmet on, no money to my name at all, nothing to eat when the night came. Difficult situations, but we're here now. Who cares?
Yeah, we're here now. And another thing I noticed on your Instagram post is that you actually ask for feedback, right, from the people that follow you. Do you use that feedback?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. It's very easy to... it's a normal thing, you're putting on weight in your own house and you don't know because you're living with yourself and no one else is. Your boy sees you next month, he's like, bro, you're getting fat. That's just life. You're inside your bubble and that's it. So I'm aware of that, I'm conscious of that, so I'll do what I can to access outside the bubble.
Congratulations on your nomination.
Arlo Parks, I have to start by asking, is this moment as exciting as the time that Michelle Obama put you on her own playlist?
I mean, I would say that they're both pretty up there, yeah. That was really special. I remember I found out when I was like in my kitchen having dinner with my parents, and then someone was like, oh, have you seen like Michelle Obama's playlist? And I thought, oh yeah, I'm sure she has good taste, like I'll check it out. And then I was on it and it was beautiful.
That's amazing, and I love the picture that you took where you just like...
Yeah, I was just in my childhood bedroom like...
So good.
Yeah.
Now, when I was studying up about you, Arlo, I read that the title of your album is taken from Zadie Smith's novel On Beauty. I'm just wondering why that line struck you.
I think there was this sense of bittersweetness. You know, you associate sunbeams and sunshine with joy and summer, and then that sense of collapse is almost like giving up or being overcome by emotion. And this record is a very human one. It has all these different facets to it, and it just felt like it captured it really well.
And you talked about it being a really human record, and you've described yourself as an empath before. So when listeners come and share their stories with you, you know, encouraged by your music, how do you handle those stories that they share?
I mean, I feel like each one of those stories like affects me quite deeply, and that's kind of what makes me an empath, I guess, as I said before. But it's also very beautiful, you know, because I'm a music lover before a music maker, and a lot of artists have kind of moved me to those deep depths. So for me to do that to somebody else is really beautiful.
So many interesting thoughts from both of you. Thank you for joining us. Good luck to all the nominees tonight.
Good luck from us too, Ria. Thank you very much. Ramla Ali made history in Tokyo as the first Somali boxer to compete at the Olympic Games, and smashing stereotypes is becoming her forte. Her new boxing class, Sisters Club, was originally set up to allow Muslim women to train for free. Now it's open to any women who have suffered domestic violence or sexual assault. Anton Allen has been to find out more.
Olympic and professional boxer Ramla Ali doesn't lack confidence, whether in the ring or modelling for international fashion brands. Ramla also uses her boxing star power to help women across the UK.
Left, right, move, left, right.
In 2018 in Ladbroke Grove, Ramla, who is Somalia's first professional boxer, founded Sisters Club, boxing classes for Muslim women which are free to attend.
A lot of women don't have safe spaces and find it hard to access sport, which, you know, is the reason why we started Sisters Club.
Ramla expanded the classes to be a safe space for any women who have suffered sexual assault or domestic violence, in order to give them the ability to learn to defend themselves.
It was really hard for them to trust anybody, but after a couple of months into it, when I gained their trust, it was amazing. You know, I was getting feedback like, I feel safe walking home alone at night by myself, which is, you know, the reason why I started it.
Due to the lockdown, Sisters Club faced closure until sports retailer Sports Direct agreed to fund the classes and expand Ramla's initiative to 4 Everlast fitness clubs. Today, nationwide, women from all backgrounds can join the class and get fit whilst feeling comfortable.
To feel that, you know, I'm going somewhere where I'm not judged, or I feel like, you know, I can be myself, I can take my hijab off. As you can see, I'm profusely sweating, you know, so that's the kind of thing that, you know, it's really important to have that.
The goal of today's class is to ensure there's equal opportunity for women to enjoy boxing, but for those that do decide to become professionals, they'll still have to overcome the barrier of unequal pay.
You know, the pay difference between men and women in professional sport, and because of that, a lot of women feel like they couldn't necessarily pursue a career in sport. So yeah, I feel like those are some of the barriers that women face every day.
When Ramla started boxing, she had to hide her participation from her family. Today, she hopes Sisters Clubs will one day help women around the world live a safe and healthier life. Antoine Allen, ITV News.
This Saturday marks 20 years since a group of terrorists hijacked 4 American planes and crashed them into the Twin Towers in New York and the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. Over the next few days, we'll be hearing from those family and friends who lost loved ones on 9/11 and reflecting on the last 2 decades. Joy Bennett's son, Ollie, was working that day at the very top of one of the towers. She flew to the US from Buckinghamshire with her husband. When they arrived, they found a beautiful day jarring with their despair. Here's her story and a warning, there is some upsetting footage.
My name is Joy, and my son was Oliver Bennett, but always known as Ollie. He was in the Twin Towers on the 106th floor of the North Tower on September the 11th, and he was killed there. It doesn't feel like what one would assume 20 years is like. It feels like yesterday. He was very funny. He was very laid back. He didn't work at the Twin Towers. He was there for a conference for his company on that day.
I was just standing here watching the World Trade Center and I saw the plane hit the building.
I was actually in a store, in a large store in Amersham, and said, gosh, my son's in New York, I hope he's nowhere near that, literally, because he didn't work there. And so then we just panicked and went to New York as soon as we could, which was actually the following Saturday. It was utterly and totally chaotic, it just a disaster zone. And thousands of people, all of us carrying photographs of our lost ones, almost as though we were hoping we'd get round the corner and find them and see them. Where's Amy? After September the 11th, we decided to set up the Ollie Bennett Charitable Trust to support young people who are alive and want to sort of set up in business and, you know, really need finance. And it's been amazing. So we've given We've given awards to 150 people. It's an extraordinary thing to say now, but I did say it at the time. If Ollie died and he lived in London and he got knocked over or whatever, you know, we'd have him cremated. And I saw it as Ollie's being cremated in New York. When he went for this whole year, he had to get accommodation. And he said, I'm going to go live in Brooklyn. I will be in Manhattan and I'm going to have a loft. And he did. No, he was just, he was so lively. I miss him enormously, on a daily basis. I mean, like everything I do, really. He chose this house for us by accident, but he did. And he said, I got it, Ma, I got it. He always called me Ma. I got it, Ma. He said, a good view at the front, a brilliant view at the back. Just think of waking up to that every day. So this is where I stay.
That was Joy Bennett's story. Let's have a look at the weather now with Philippa Drew.
Making the most of it, whatever the weather. Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Hello there. We've had a few showers around today, some of them heavy, locally thundery. More of the same to come tomorrow, still that ongoing risk of thunderstorms. But I think as we head into the weekend, all looking quite a bit drier, albeit on the cloudy side. So the low pressure that's brought the showers over the last day or so will gradually pull away northeastwards. And then high pressure starts to make its presence felt as we head through Saturday and Sunday, settling things down at least for a time. Out there at the moment, then still some lingering showers, but these will soon fade. And for the rest of the night, it's set to be largely dry, albeit rather cloudy again with some mist and murk in places, and another sticky one for sleeping, lows up at around 15 or 16 Celsius. Tomorrow morning then, another rather grey start for many of us, some mist and murk in places. That will gradually thin and break, some sunny spells coming through, but much like today, as the sunshine comes through, so too we'll see showers breaking out, and again some of these could well be heavy and locally thundery in nature. Temperature-wise, very similar to today, highs around 23-24 Celsius, so nowhere near as hot as it was during the early part of the week. As we head through the latter stages of tomorrow and into the start of the weekend, then the showers fading, that low pressure pulling away northeastwards and high pressure starting to build in from the south and west. So all boding fairly well as we head through Saturday. A lot of dry weather, some bright or sunny spells to be found, but I think generally speaking the weekend will bring quite a lot of cloud our way. As we head into Monday, it looks as though that high pressure will stick with us, so more in the way of dry weather, again some sunny spells, winds generally on the light side, and temperatures, if anything, set to rise a little higher as we head into the new week. Bye-bye.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
And as we say goodbye to summer, wouldn't you know, the first Christmas decorations have appeared. Trees were spotted being put up at Marylebone Station today. But before you cry that it gets earlier and earlier every year, they were apparently out only for some filming. But they're going up somewhere for real, I can tell. That is it. We'll be back with the late updates. Mary is here next with the ITV Evening News. But from me and the rest of the London team, have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.